My tips for improving English. Listen and read in English. Learn vocabulary. Improve your English writing skill. Try thinking in English. Conduct small talk in English. Phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs with meanings and example sentences. Run into. This means to meet someone unexpectedly. For an example, I ran into my old friend from school at the grocery store. Put off. This means to postpone doing something. For an example, I keep putting off going to the doctor. Turn on. This means to activate or start. For an example, he turned on the lights when he entered the room. Find out. This means to discover or learn. For an example, I need to find out more about the job requirements. Get away. This means to go on holiday. For an example, I really need to get away for a week. Work has been very stressful lately. Grow up. This means to develop into adulthood. For an example, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor. Call off. This means to cancel something. For an example, the meeting was called off due to the storm. Go on. This means to continue. For an example, the show must go on. Look after. This means to take care of. For an example, my kids need someone to look after them. Lay down. This means to put something down. For an example, she was forced to lay down her job. Weigh down. This means to make feel worried. For an example, he was weighed down with financial burdens. Add up. This means to take a sum. For an example, the manager added up the bill. Come off. This means to happen as a result of something. For an example, Lily comes of a good family. Set aside. This means to set apart or to reject. For an example, the court set aside his claim. Come along. This means to accompany someone. For an example, if you want, they can come along. Wake up. This means to make someone stop sleeping. For an example, George usually wakes up early. Lie down. This means to rest on your back. For an example, just lie down on the bed. Pick up. This means to answer a phone. For an example, the phone rang and nobody picked up. Cut down. This means to reduce the amount. For an example, I need to cut down on salty snacks. Come apart. This means to break into pieces. For an example, the glass just came apart in my hands. Get up. This means to stand. For an example, you should get up and give the elderly man your seat. Go over. This means to examine or check something. For an example, I want to go over these plans with you again. End in. This means to finish in a certain way. For an example, their marriage ended in divorce. To live off. This means to rely on something or support. For an example, live off your family money. To look forward to. This means to anticipate something with excitement. For an example, she is looking forward to starting her new job next month. English grammar tips. Other ways to say specially, therefore, also, but, because, and thank you. Other ways to say specially, mainly, mostly, chiefly, for the most part, very, extremely, largely, particularly. Other ways to say therefore, consequently, completely, as a result, appropriately, thereupon, hence, so, thus. Other ways to say also, as well, equally, similarly, alike, jointly, identically, likewise, equivalently. Other ways to say but, except, otherwise, various, alternatively, only, on the other hand, yet, on the contrary. Other ways to say because, due to, since, as a result of, by virtue of, in view of, in behalf, on, as long as, on the grounds that. Other ways to say thank you. I am grateful. I am thankful. Thanks a lot. Thanks a ton. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks for everything. Cheers. Summary of today's lesson. My tips for improving English. Phrasal verbs with meanings and example sentences. English grammar tips. Other ways to say. Specially, therefore, also, but, because, and thank you. Practice one lesson at a time to improve your writing and speaking English skills. Was this helpful? Let me know in the comment section.